All right, it's Kill Team time. Come see the new box set and get your first look at the brand new rules for this new supplement. Spiky Bits. Make sure you stay in the trenches by becoming a supporter over on Patreon and also scoring yourself some free miniature swag in the process. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Check out our site, spikybits.com, for all the hot hobby tutorials, news, rumors on all your favorite hobby topics. And head on over to thelongwar.net. That's the home of the battle reports for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today. Alright, Hobby Maniacs, it's that time again. I'm Baer, and this is your first look review of the new Warhammer 40k Kill Team rule set / box set, core box, whatever you want to call it, E-I-E-I-O. Boom. This is a very good deal just right off the bat, just for the price point of the products you get in it. Because, check it out, you get one box of Tau Empire Fire Warriors, one box of Space Marine Tactical Squads, and 40k the rule book. So you figure, you see these going on eBay for 30-40 bucks. The Tactical Squad's 40, the Tau Fire Warriors are $50. Right there, you're talking, what, 120, 130? This is $65 box set. Nobody pays retail, obviously. So right there, we're talking, 45 to 50% off, depending on what you value the Kill Team rules themselves at, which was a big part of the old 4th edition codex. So, you got a lot going on here. A lot of moving pieces, a lot of value to be had. Now, when you open this bad boy up, you of course have the brand new Kill Team box. It comes sealed in a little, cellophane, but I've already read through it and taken some notes. And then of course you've got the brand new 40k rule book. Well, not brand new, but it's a mini rule book, and it is mostly brand new for the most part. And then the instruction manuals for both of the squads, which are obviously going to come in here. We're not going to spend much time on them because we've unboxed those in the past. So you've got the Tau Fire Warrior squad right here, the brand new one that goes for $50, and then of course, which is 3 sprues, and then you got the Tactical Squad there, which comes with all sorts of new great weaponry. You got some combi pieces right here. You've got the rocket launcher, another fan favorite, of course, combi gun itself, grav gun itself, and then there's some combi grabs in here as well, and all of the neat little accessories that we've come to really take for granted, I guess, just basically from Games Workshop's kit, so to speak. So there's all that. We're not going to really spend a lot of time on that or this rulebook here, but we are going to jump in feet first on this new Kill Team book. So it's a nice little supplement. It's like 32 pages, just like we've seen in the past. Seems to be their standard for supplements, so to speak. Now, when you open this bad boy up, you're like, oh, okay, cool. It kind of reads like, the Monka and the Callion supplements and all that stuff that came out over November holiday last year in 2015. Now, here's all the rules here, basically talking about kill teams, choosing your kill teams, because it's set up almost exactly the same as it was before, nearly identically the same. Some of the bonuses are a little bit different, or some of the specialists are a little bit different because we have new USRs and things now too, right? So it is updated from 4th edition all the way fast forward to 7th edition. Now there's some sites out there and things like that had been keeping up with it. Adepticon had a version of it for several years. So, people have been doing it, and I'm sure Games Workshop looked at that and was like, hey, this is still popular. Let's do something. Let's get a supplement together and get it put out. Because remember, this is technically Lunchhammer. You can play this in an hour. It's basically 1 to 2 squads worth of dudes, on a 4x4 table. So that's really cool to see, right? So you start taking a look at it. Here's all the special rules. Then you got the Kill Team missions themselves, the appendix. There's 2 actual data sheet for squads that you can just run. Like, hey man, I just want to run what's in the box. I don't want to think. Give me something good. Well, there's a relentless missile launcher guy that comes with it, and then for the Tau, there's a Feel No Pain guy as well. So they kind of give you these ideas of basically how to run it, and then the rest is up to you. Of course, you can take it and run with your game. So there's the fluff in the background of things. Now we get to the first page of rules, which I went too far. Boom, there it is. So how to choose your kill team. Now don't get it twisted. You're not going to get all the rules in this book. You're going to still need to have your codexes, your main rule book, which you get your main rule book in here, so don't sweat that. But you're still going to need to have your codex. You're still going to need to know how much a tactical squad costs, how much a Orc Boy squad costs, how much a squad of Warp Talons or Raptors costs. You know what I mean? Like, you're still going to need that basic knowledge. You're not going to get away with it in this book. This just gives you the rules for playing Kill Team, okay? So you've got your basic detachment here, which can be up to 2 troops, 1 elite, and 1 fast attack. Now we're going to do a bigger breakdown. I'm just kind of giving you the overview. This is generally just a first look review. I'm sure there's a lot of tactics and things to be had in here, and things like that. So we're going to probably, next week we'll drop our, tips and tactics, dirty tips and tactics, whatever you want to call it, for the new rule set here. But for now, we're just going to give you a brief overview so you can be like, oh snap, that sounds dope, I want to go buy it. $65, like I said, core set, good value in my opinion. Back to the actual matter at hand. So there's all your stuff, you got your optionals, whatever. Restrictions. In order to represent the sorts of units that would be tasked with undertaking such a mission, there are a few further restrictions that you must take into account when selecting your kill team. First off, you must have at least 4 non-vehicle units. One of these models must be your leader, see opposite. 3 must be specialists, and those guys are all going to get special rules. So your leader gets leader traits, and then all of your specialists, you get to pick which ones they are. You can't duplicate, but there's quite a few to choose from, and almost all the USR special rules are in here, which is really cool to see. Okay. So now, moving on. Then we've got a kill team cannot include any model with more than 3 wounds or hull points. That takes into consideration a lot of those HQs, a lot of the special characters, hull points vehicles start becoming, once you get that many, it becomes an issue to deal with. We saw, there was a restriction back in the day, 2-up armor save, which is still in place here. 3 wounds was a thing, and also the armor, the constructed or the composition armor, which you cannot include any vehicles with a combined armor value of the vehicle's front, side, and rear. So you don't add the side twice, just once, of more than 33. So basically, like predators are out because you got 13 plus 11 plus 10, which puts you over, right? But then when you got things like chimeras, which is 12 plus 10 plus 10, you're good. That's 32. Rhinos, again, you're good. 11, 11, 10. So things like that always came into play. They don't want you taking, stuff like predators, stuff like obviously like land raiders. It's going to be hard to deal with, right? And there's a lot more of those things on the tabletop today. Obviously, a Night Titan would just stomp over everybody. Literally, so just keep those things in mind. You don't want to have any field badsies, and that's what these restrictions are for here. And then once you start looking through the book, you can see the types of special rules and things that you pick. Now, you buy a squad, and then you pick these rules for each member of the squad. So obviously, Death Watch guys are really cool because they come with a lot of really good weaponry. Grey Knights actually excel in this kind of format. Stuff like Blood Angels are actually maybe not as good on the tabletop in a 2,000 to 1,500 point game or whatever, but they're really good in this format. I mean, Furious Charge is a thing in this game, like all of the basics rules that are, when you break it down to the nth level, to the smallest common denominator, shine in these type of games, okay? So even stuff like Necrons getting back up is pretty well, they don't work like that these days, but they have the additional saves, kind of like Feel No Pain. Okay, reanimation protocols, all right, fine, whatever. But you know what I mean. So these types of small basic mechanics that are super beneficial, or they're super beneficial in these smaller games, kind of just like a thing to do and maybe consider in the bigger type games, really starts breaking it down. So if you start thinking about your army and start thinking about certain units, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Okay, so this can do this with this. That seems pretty good at 200 points, right? So there's a lot of that out there. And I mean, to be quite honest, I played a smaller game of Kill Team, or it might have been Combat Patrol, or a combination thereof, with a unit of Grey Knights. And just like, single dudes with like an incinerator or a side cannon was pretty brutal. You just keep a dude on Overwatch. It's basic military tactics. You keep a dude with a heavy weapon up on a perch on Overwatch. If you can take multiple small squads, and then your rest of your dudes go out there and try to do some work, things like that. So there's a lot of that in here, and then it gets into the mission section, which there's several. Remember, we're playing on a 4x4 for this, not the full 4x6 or even 4x8 table. So there's a bunch of those, and they give you specific missions. And hey, like in a day's time, you can run through most of them, right? And then it talks about like going beyond, and I'm sure in the new White Dwarf they will have a lot more, missions and things to be included in there. So that's just the basics for the new supplement here. It's a great little supplement. It's a value. Now, I'm not sure that they could put this out and actually get, $20, $30 or whatever for it. But when they combo it with, models. It's like everything you need is here except for, your basic hobby supplies to put this stuff together. I feel like it's a really good value. Like I said, we're already around 45 to 50% off depending on what you value this rule set at, because this is not one of those box games that you pick up and you're like, I might play it, I might not, I'm just doing it for the models, like Betrayal at Calth or something. You're actually getting this for basically these rules. So that puts a decent price on this supplement, I feel like. Now, is it worth 20, 30 bucks? Probably not. Is it worth at least $10 to $15? Most definitely. Kind of like one of those deals. So when you start thinking about total value for this whole box, I feel like we're definitely, it's at least worth the retail price to a lot of people. When you figure the Tau boxes, Tau Tactical Squad in here is 50 bucks. So you throw another $15 with it, you got this squad. So it's really cool to see a lot of stuff like that from Games Workshop. Oh, and I didn't show you, I didn't show you the two sample data sheets back here. Okay, so here's the two sample squads that they give you actually for the strike team. Now remember, Games Workshop put out I think 4 or 5 of these too to go along with little bundles that they were selling on their site. So I guess there's about 6 of these out there, but now it starts to make sense what some of these special rules do. And of course, like I said, 190, 134, is that does it stack up? Well, it might, depending on which missions you play, right? So there's a lot of that stuff in play here, I feel like. So kind of keep that stuff in mind, right? And then just kind of look it over. Like you have this just a 5-man tactical squad here. Some of them have special rules. They're all unique, of course. And then you've got, your 3 veterans and your 1 regular dude right here. Oh, this is actually a 10-man squad, 6, right? Because you got your 1 HQ, or your 1 leader and your 3 specialists right there, and the same with over here. And then they basically break it down. You got a guerrilla specialist and he has preferred enemy. Make sure you write on your sheet that all that stuff's happening. Specialist with expert shot, which is great, and the indomitable specialist with a relentless, because of course he wants to fire the rocket launcher, right? So it's all this cool stuff in here that really gives you that kind of fluff and that kind of forging your own narrative from playing this and basically battling just squad on squad combat. And if you only got an hour to play and you're like, I only got an hour to play, but you can customize your squads, your specialists, all that stuff. You can play campaigns with this. It's just a really, really, really great little expansion for the hobby that really gives you an excuse to get out there and really work on and put those hobby muscles to work on just 10 to 20 dudes, maybe a vehicle, maybe not. It's just a really cool thing that I think a lot of people are going to appreciate. The old timers like me definitely appreciate it, because this is harkening back to, I don't even know, like we're talking what, 2004, 2006 here, whenever 4th edition came out. I think it was October. I want to say it was October 2004, but I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure it was right around in there. Anyhow, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed my first look review of the brand new core set game from Games Workshop. It's Kill Team.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. TheLongWar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.